Good morning in Queensland, good afternoon in New South Wales and Victoria, and South Australia and Western Australia. I think you're still this morning, so welcome to this webinar on ESS BIZTOOLS. Hope you're having a wonderful day. There's still a few people coming on to register, so we'll get started in just a moment. I hope you're having a good day, and we will answer your questions as we go through here today on ESS BIZTOOLS. So we'll get started because time's precious for each of you. So what we're going to do first of all is just take you through some PowerPoint slides on ESS BIZTOOLS to discover what we're going to discuss with you in this webinar. So we're going to look at tools and products, business advisory services, which are divided into two components: the introduction to business advisory services and actual products that have been prepared, ready for accountants to deliver. Business Plus newsletters, a newsletter which we produce monthly except January for our subscribers to badge and send to their clients. So it is targeted at small, medium enterprises. Client Mentoring and Coaching is a series that's there to assist accountants to educate your clients on the types of services that you can provide. Leadership is a module that's been prepared to assist accountants with the leadership challenge both within your own firms, and you could offer that as a product to your clients. Client seminars and webinars, in our opinion, the best way to market your firm. These are pre-prepared, ready for use. There are 34 of them. There are 530 papers within the system that are targeted at small, medium enterprise, and there are 50 papers targeted at accountants within the system. And for every paper there is a set of PowerPoint slides to help you in the discussions on those subjects with your clients or prospects. We have a sister product, ESS BIZGRANTS, which is available as part of the Gold subscription. Alternatively, you could subscribe separately to ESS BIZGRANTS if you wished. And we'll have a look at the website, and then we'll have a look at what your investment is going to be in this product. If you have any questions while we're going through this webinar today, could you please type your question and in webinar jargon raise your hand and send it, and that way it will come through to me and I'll answer the questions later in the webinar. What you have on the screen at present is a chart as to how ESS BIZTOOLS works. The material has been developed into products, so within business advisory services we have two components. There are modules to assist with getting an accountancy business ready to deliver business advisory services. When you think about it, most accountancy businesses have got this very strong bias towards taxation work. That's been part of the culture for accountancy businesses for a long time. Business advisory services for many firms is a whole new area, and therefore the training, the understanding and the culture relating to business advisory services has to be built. So we have a program which will assist you to do that over a 3-month period. And the second component of business advisory services is there are 15 ready-to-use products, and each year we're adding about another 3 or 4 products and services to that list, so that there is always an ample supply of prepared, ready-for-use material that you could use to deliver business advisory services to your clients. Business Plus newsletter, we'll have a look at one of those later on, but it's prepared every month. It's uploaded to our website on the second Friday of a month at 12 noon Queensland time, so that happens tomorrow. We've just finalised commentary in Business Plus for this month, and it's therefore available. Client mentoring and coaching is material that's been prepared in 12 modules to assist accountants to educate clients on the type of services you can offer. Leadership modules there to assist in leadership activities. There are 530 odd papers for SMEs and 50 papers for accountants. There are 34 client seminars presented in 1 hour, 3 hour, 6, 9 and 15 hour sessions. The ones that are over 3 hours are all in 3 hour components. There's hundreds of tools and forms, and there's video tutorials, and ESS BIZGRANTS is on a separate website which is available to be linked to for a gold subscriber. So that's what comprises ESS BIZTOOLS. It's a fairly detailed body of work to assist accountants to be able to deliver business advisory services. So how are you planning to meet the challenges in 2015? We think there's quite a number of them, and I'm summarising a few of them here. Digital disruption, which is based on a report that Deloitte produced a couple of years ago, talking about what was going to happen to a number of businesses, number of industries, including accountancy. The comment from Guy Swigers, who was then the CEO of Deloitte Australia, that the accountancy profession will get worse and worse. Clients' concerns about issues like debtors' days outstanding, personal property securities register, cost control issues. What we have on the screen there is an extract out of the Deloitte report on digital disruption. They identified a number of industries: arts and crafts, retail, ICT and media, finance, professional services and real estate. Obviously accountancy is part of professional services, and that forecast indicated there would be a 32% change in accountancy businesses over a period of time. That doesn't mean that the revenue disappeared, but it meant that a firm would have to do something about it, according to Deloitte. And it's interesting that PricewaterhouseCoopers have come out with a similar sort of comment under the heading digital disruption. So the Deloitte response was to suggest that accountants should be recalibrating cost structures. Well, that's something that you probably do all the time, looking at your costs, seeing where reductions can be made. Replenishing revenue streams, and this is the area that we believe business advisory services falls into, that you can replace what is going to be lost through digital disruption and changes in taxation processes with business advisory services, and reshaping corporate strategies, which is probably something more for the big end of town. It's worth looking at what Swigers had to say. Accountants are doomed unless they can respond to the threat of digital disruption. The volatility coupled with digital change will continue to challenge firms. And then his most telling comment is published in Business Review Weekly. It will get worse and worse and worse. And then when you think it can't get worse, it will continue to get worse. Very interesting comments from a man who at that stage was leading one of the top 4 firms in Australia. It's also interesting to note some of the further comments that were made by a Deloitte partner, Jason Bender, at the Australian Technology Showcase for Accountants Conference on the 21st of October 2014 in Melbourne. Bender said there is a need for accountancy businesses to develop strategies on how to respond to changing market conditions. If accountants are not really careful, the profession could really suffer. And then he said, don't let this happen on our watch. And that was basically how he closed his address at that conference. Don't let this happen on our watch. At the same conference, the speaker after the Deloitte speaker was Jeff Leeper, the second commissioner from the Australian Taxation Office, who made a comment that now has become fairly infamous amongst accountants. The ATO's red tape reduction strategy will reduce the costs for small medium enterprises from the standard business reporting strategy by at least $500 million a year. Leeper said a lot of this will come from professional fees. He then said, "This is the digital disruption for accountants." He then went on to say there's a market there for accountants to offer cash flow management advice. He said this was because approximately 60% of the debt owing to the ATO is from small business, completely out of proportion to the size of the small business market in the total Australian market. So what does all these type of facts and comments mean to your firm? Have you developed strategies to counteract the challenges that leading practitioners are saying is going to affect the accounting industry? It's also worth looking at the situation on debtors' days outstanding, because I believe this is a product that accountants could immediately start offering, and it's in line with what the second Commissioner of Taxation is saying. Dun & Bradstreet, 54 days outstanding. There's a report come out recently which said 51.6 days. It's all still very high. So SME clients need help in a debtors system, calculation of debtors days outstanding, debtors recovery systems, reduction checklists, all of which is comprised within ESS BIZTOOLS to help accountants deliver that sort of services. One of the sleeping issues confronting small medium enterprises and therefore accountants, I believe, is the Personal Property Securities Register. It's a misnamed bit of legislation in the first instance. It's been called personal property when it applies to all forms of property other than real estate. And that causes a lot of confusion. I've even had accountants say to me, "Why are you concerned about personal property?" Well, it's not personal property, it's really business property. And it can cover a wide range of business transactions. Within ESS BIZTOOLS, we have developed a due diligence system to assist accountants to undertake a due diligence review of your client's preparations for the requirements of the Personal Property Securities Act. According to my calculations, there's already been $40 million at least lost by Australian businesses, and there's a couple of major court cases underway at present around Australia which could significantly add to that figure. I don't think any of us would want a client to have to suffer under this legislation, which incidentally I think is some of the worst prepared and presented legislation I've ever seen in Australia. The lack of training of business people, SMEs, big business also has been caught under this legislation, accountants and solicitors. Is very worrying that the government of the day allowed this legislation to be introduced in the format that it was. Cost control is a major issue according to SME operators, as revealed in the CCH report, The Fine Line Between Failure and Success. So one of the roles an accountant offering a business advisory service could assume is to be the cost consultant to their client, to assist them in the area that the 1,100 small businesses who were interviewed for that CCH survey indicated was their biggest single problem. ESS BIZTOOLS can assist you with a range of non-compliance services to meet these challenges in 2015. And during this year we will develop some additional products which we believe will assist you to meet those problems in 2016, because every year there are going to be problems. The tax market is shrinking. So we have in the Introduction to Business Advisory Services, 12 modules which cover the sort of items that are listed there. We want to get stakeholder input from your team members, from your partners, from your clients, the people who pay the bills. What do they want? There's some leadership material, detailed discussion on products and services that you might offer, marketing. The key document is the SME needs analysis, which is basically a menu of the services that you are providing. And we've got some suggestions on how you might launch yourself into business advisory services with a series of seminars, not one big seminar, because you don't want too much work to hit you all at once out of this. And we've got some suggestions on how you might professionally sell business advisory services to your clients. Within the business advisory services product modules, we have products for business health checks for a number of businesses, an evaluation workshop which would enable you to work through in great detail with the client to understand the issues that are confronting them in their business, budgets and cash flow forecasts, Chief Financial Officer services, which we recommend is one of the standard products that you should be offering to your clients. Not many of your clients can afford a Chief Financial Officer, but I believe that those type of services are required by virtually every business every week. It mightn't be for very long. It might only be half an hour or an hour a week, but those services are there. So there's an opportunity for accountancy firms to become the virtual CFO for their clients and to help your clients grow their businesses. Strategic business mentoring is a slightly higher level to assist your clients to achieve what they've set out in their budgets and business plans. So it's acting more as a finance director type role. Cash flow management, business planning. We have 46 business plan questionnaires pre-prepared, ready for you to use. There's material on buying a business and selling a business, and obviously selling a business is very difficult at present, and a lot of baby boomers are going to get caught up in this significant problem in selling a business. Succession planning applies to a business at all of its levels, but more particularly near the end of a business career. And the personal property securities register, which I mentioned earlier, is a very important product. We produce a Business Plus newsletter each month. I can hear you. The monthly client newsletter you would brand and send to your clients. The articles are targeted at the clients so that you can be assisting them. Client mentoring and coaching. There's 13 pre-prepared modules on business advice. So you could mail this to your clients to keep them informed and develop an understanding, because a lot of your clients are probably going to need convincing that your firm can do something other than taxation, because all you've done for them in the past is taxation service. So every series, which is a mail out of some material for them to read, has an explanation letter and a survey form. Leadership, there's 9 modules. It's been written for accountants to mentor your clients on leadership issues, but most of our subscribers commence with offering the services to their own team first. And there's client seminars and webinars, a great way to market an accountancy business. 35 of them have been prepared. They're in different time spans, but we've found over the years that the most popular type of webinar these days is a 1-hour webinar, seminar. All of the organisational materials included within ESS BIZTOOLS. All you've basically got to do is read the material and then be able to present it. The papers are there, the PowerPoint slides are there, the invitations, the registration forms have all been done. And then within the papers, there's 500 plus papers, about 530 at present. Papers are being edited and prepared on an ongoing basis, and some papers are being withdrawn, especially in government grant areas. Government grants come and go. And there's also 50 papers targeted at accountants, and for every paper there's a PowerPoint slide. ESS BIZGRANTS is a system which will help our subscribers identify grants for individual small medium enterprises. You have to take 3 minutes to enter some information into a profile, which then remains within the system because we're using cloud technology. So it's not going to take you 3 minutes next year to enter that basic information. And then the system is able to do a search and identify the grants that we believe your client could be involved in. And our subscription levels, your investment, $238 a month plus GST for gold, and gold receives everything that we're going to talk to you today about. Or you can have a discounted upfront payment of $2,700 plus GST, and the silver and the bronze prices are there as well. I've included here a testimonial that we received from a subscriber a few weeks ago, Carmel Edgecombe of ROCG at Chatswood. As users of ESS BIZTOOLS for the past 2 years, our firm has benefited from the vast range of tools and templates available to assist in the quality of our client service offering. It provides a wealth of information and resources that we'd otherwise need to custom build from the ground up, so the time efficiencies created are a real bonus for our firm. So what we're going to do now is just go onto the ESS BIZTOOLS website. Before that, I'll see if there's any questions. There's no questions. If you have any questions, please type them in and raise your hand. So we are now on the members homepage of ESS BIZTOOLS. This is a brand new website, so that's why we got that notice there. We are still doing final checkouts on a few things, but in the main the system is fully operational. I'm going to go first of all to Business Advisory Services and download that, and then we're going to look at what's contained within the introduction to Business Advisory Services and to the products. There's a lot of other information on this site that you can access. Relating to our blog articles and news and events, which are there for you to look at. Within Business Advisory Services, we have the training modules, Preparing for Delivery. So they're there to assist the firm to get ready. And we'll just click on to one of these. First of all, there's a summary of what's included. This is part of the preparation for what a firm might be contemplating doing within Business Advisory Services. So you can look at these forms individually if you wish. But what I'm going to do is download all. What we have within each module is a procedure control form which will guide you through the process of working through our material. It's making reference to papers and what we call Business Advisory Services forms. We've called them BAS. They're not that other BAS. So if we We work through here, we can see some of these documents that we might want to read, and I'm just going to pick a couple of these out so that you might be able to see what we're doing here, so we can we've got a checklist for the introduction of business advisory services. We'll click on it. I'm just reading a question someone's sent in. I'll reply to that question in a moment. So there's a form. With all of our forms, you've got these double lines here. You can badge them with your logo and your name. That's how you would do it for a paper. This is an internal form, but you still might decide to do that. So you can enable editing on this form, so that will allow you obviously to type in your responses. So this form is asking you to review a whole range of issues to do with your firm, because within an accountancy business you won't find everyone is 100% behind the concept of developing business advisory services. And what we're trying to find out here is what is the position within the firm. So there's a whole range of questions there to assist you to do that. There's a form, and I'll just go through these forms now so you can quickly see them. There's a form there for partner evaluation. Obviously, you'd be driven by the procedure control form and going to these various forms. So the system has a form to assist partners to indicate what they're interested in doing, and some partners are obviously only going to be interested in taxation or audit or insolvency matters. I was talking to some partners at a firm in Sydney last week, and they were both quite happy with the work that they were doing, but they have a young manager who is keen to get into business advisory services. We went through this presentation with them, and they've become a subscriber, basically to create some new work activities for their manager and a couple of their other younger accountants who are keen to get into this sort of work. So this is a form that a partner could go through and complete so that he or she could give their opinion as to what they want to be involved in back to their colleagues. We have a team member survey form. Now this is meant for managers and accountants, marketing people, if you've got them in your organisation, to go through and identify what they think about the accountancy business, what would they like to do within the business. And we've summarised there for them to answer, what sort of services are they interested in providing. So first of all, we've got the accountancy services, then the financial planning, then we get into everything that could fall under business advisory services. So you can get some feedback on how much they're prepared to get involved in some of these areas. There's also a client questionnaire that could be used. We don't really suggest that you hand this to the client. Our suggestion in the material is that a partner who doesn't normally work for that client has a cup of coffee with the client and generally raises these questions, and then the partner completes the form later on. So the important thing is to get some understanding of what your clients think. There's plenty of evidence from surveys from CCH, MYOB, FMRC, Smith Inc. in later years, and universities that small medium enterprises are looking for additional services to be provided by someone. Some of the surveys say accountants, but others just say this is what they're looking for. One of the benefits, I believe, in you talking to your own clients, maybe 15 to 20 of them, is that you'll get the view then from the people that really matter to you, not those in surveys so you don't know who they were. These are your own clients. In my experience, around 85% of your clients will say that they want additional services and that they are prepared to pay for them. And a number of them will then make comments like, now that we know that you can do this, we want you to do it. We'll be watching you. So those forms are there to assist you in doing that. Okay, so we'll just move on to a couple of the other modules so that you can get a better appreciation of I just want to show you use of SME needs analysis and then we'll move on. The SME needs analysis enables a checklist of services to be shown to a client. So I'm not downloading the procedure control form here. I'm just going to go straight to this document so you can see how it works. This is a form to try to promote some discussion from your clients. Our procedure process recommends that you would have had a small seminar, that this client would have been invited, because the client, we believe, should be an A-class client, someone who you really believe you can offer additional services to. Our recommendation is you forward this form to the client, appropriately badged with their name and your firm name, of course, about a week before you're going to have your discussion with them. So in the first place, you want them to comment on what they think about their current business performance. And in practice, I found that some clients will ask you questions about, well, what does debtors days outstanding mean, and what is stock turnover and things like this, which might show to you that you need some more education for your clients in some areas. They may raise questions about budgets and cash flows. We've got questions here on human resources, really to understand whether they've got a problem with Fair Work Australia requirements. And I'm not suggesting that you're going to be able to handle all these areas, but our suggestion is that you become the manager and recommend to clients who they might go to, who you know will give these services, and will not attempt to poach your client in any way or steer them away to another organisation. There's some questions there about government grants. Are they happy that they know about grants, or are they disappointed that they're missing out on grants, and are they disappointed because they find out that some of their competitors have got grants? We've got there some notes on the Personal Property Securities Register. The clients of ours who are using our Personal Property Securities Register told me that less than 10% of the small business clients that they've got have any understanding at all how this legislation works. This is a quagmire of problems, I believe, for SMEs, because a client can lose an asset that they've paid for, that they own, because they've left it somewhere or placed it with someone, like consignment stock or vehicles, and they haven't appropriately registered on a government register. And because they haven't done that, in the event of an insolvency event, liquidation, bankruptcy, for the person whose property they've got the asset on or who owes them money, they can potentially lose that asset. So we have developed a full system which will enable accountants to identify weaknesses in your client system to make sure that they realise that they probably should be making registrations on the register. So that's the first lot of questions. There's then some taxation planning questions. And then we've got future planning. So this is the area that we're very interested in. Are they interested in a business plan or a budget? How long since they had the business valuation prepared? What do they think their business is worth? What do you think it's worth? What's the valuation gap? There's a great opening then for you to help develop strategies that over the next 2 to 3 years you're going to help them bridge the valuation gap. Do they want to expand their business? What are their feelings on their wealth creation? We've got a whole list of risk management areas there that we believe should be looked at least annually with clients. Are their insurance policies appropriate? Do they have wills? And then we're going into succession and estate planning, and then into business improvement, and then into finance. So there's a whole series of questions there that are hopefully trying to prompt the client to indicate to you the sort of things that might be of concern to them. And obviously in the discussion you can be raising issues that you believe that they should be having a closer look at in their businesses. I honestly believe that if you sit down and have this discussion with your client, you will definitely obtain further work from it, because it will unearth activities that the client wants attended to. So that's all I'm going to talk about on the introduction modules, because time's moving on. I just want to take you now to the product area of business advisory services. These are the modules that are ready for use. And there's the things that are covered. There's an SME debtors system manual. There's debtors management, and these other areas which I basically referred to earlier, so they're all there that you can look at. So if we go to debtors management, Taxation Commissioner, or the number 2 man, identified this as a major issue for accountants at the ATSA Conference. So there's a whole range of forms, debt recovery procedure letters, debtors days outstanding calculation. There's a procedure control form, so it's going to guide us through what we believe should be looked at in this process. So we're going to what I should have done is downloaded this to the, just bear with me a moment please. I'll download it so it's all gone into the hard drive. And then we can use the procedure control manual to enable us to pick out a few of the things that I just want to show you. So we're going through on the procedure control manual. It's giving a suggestion that there's some papers within ESS BIZTOOLS that you should read, so the system would bring them up. But what I want to show you at this stage is the budget type form. So within the system we have a form 230. This is a form, and there's a similar one in each of the business advisory services products, which will assist you to prepare a quotation. We've had people say to us that they wanted assistance on quotation preparation, so here's a form that will assist you to do that, to go through and determine what you're going to charge. There's a proposal letter which is 250. We've had people looking for letters. You can develop your own, of course, if you wish, your engagement letter, but there's our suggestion as to what you would include. Obviously, if you're going to do something a little bit different, You should edit this letter before you would send it to your client. It allows you to detail your quotation and your payment terms and cover yourself for additional work. And the first thing we're suggesting that you would look at is the debtor review questionnaire, which is the one I just want to show you now. So this is, you'd badge this with your name and logo, and this is a form that your team could then use, whoever's got the job of going out and going through and undertaking a debtor's review. Someone asked me last week in a webinar, when would you do a debtor's review? Well, I think the obvious buy-in to a debtor's review is if you're looking at debtors days outstanding. That's the first thing I'd be looking at, and saying to the client, geez, your calculation's coming up at 61 days. The national average is between 51.6 and 54. You're well over it. You've got a lot of money tied up here, thousands of dollars. Do you want us to review your systems to see whether we can come up with suggestions as to how you might improve how you're processing debtors? So we have a detailed questionnaire which will enable you to evaluate how successful your client is looking after debtors. So we will move on. Hopefully that's given you an idea of how that works. And just to remind you again of what else is in those products, there's a whole range of them there that cover a range of activities, all of which you could start earning professional fees from. The next area I want to go to is client mentoring and coaching. I'm just looking to see the questions. Someone's asked me will our clients be able to join as a member directly by bypassing their accountant? No, this subscription to ESS BIZTOOLS is for accountants, advisors only, and we want you to deal with your clients. I just seem to be having a problem there getting on to client mentoring and coaching. You want something to go wrong, run a webinar, and then you'll find out the internet doesn't work properly. Don't forget, if you have any questions, can you type them out and raise your hand, and I'll try to answer them during the webinar. What I've brought up is the Business Plus newsletter. These are produced each month. So what I'm going to show you is the February newsletter. The newsletter is prepared, targeted at small businesses, so we believe it should have your logo on when it goes out, so our suggestion is remove the ESS logo and replace it with your own and your name. There's always an editorial article. This one was looking at what are the challenges in 2015. At the end of most articles, it's asking a question to your clients. If they want to have a discussion with you about any aspect of what's been discussed in that article, will they please contact you? Because unashamedly, this material is there to assist you to promote these services to your clients. We try to keep clients aware and SMEs aware of things going on with government grants, and the Industry Skills Fund has now been launched. Started in mid-January. It's a major initiative of the current federal government. And whilst it is targeted at the so-called priority industries that this government has developed, applicants who are not part of priority industries can apply. There are hundreds of businesses within those priority industries. Don't be put off by the bland descriptions. Mining equipment, technology and services covers hundreds of different type of businesses. The same with medical technologies and pharmaceuticals. The same with advanced manufacturing. So there's details there of how that applies. We had a brief article on taxation, on capital gains tax update. We deliberately avoid filling our newsletter with taxation articles. There are other people who produce taxation type newsletters. We're concentrating on issues which we believe are more appropriate for small, medium enterprises. We've had a few comments on leadership. We were running a series on what accountants can offer. This has been going on for 10 months. This one was on ratio analysis. So just trying to inform your clients of the type of services you might be able to offer. We've been running a series for nearly 18 months on characteristics of a well-run business. This week it was on management and administration. And we believe it's necessary that professional selling skills are not only introduced and improved for accountants, but also for your clients. So we have a small article there on professional selling skills. The attention accountants item is reference material of other papers within ESS BIZTOOLS that we believe will give you additional information on a particular subject, so that you could read that if you get a direct query from a client as to how something might operate, such as the Industry Skills Fund. You can have a read of that before you go back to the client. The last logo should also be replaced with your own. So that's how the Business Plus newsletter operates. There's direct links to those reference material items that you can go to. And on the website we have about 18 months of previous articles. We've been producing this newsletter for 7 years. So if you wanted to go back to anything else, we'd be quite happy to do so. We're now going to sections and papers. There are 64 sections within ESS BIZTOOLS, and there are papers within each section. So if you want to find out the papers in a section, just click on the name of the section, and then you have the list of the papers. So if you want to have a look at a particular paper, is click on the name of the paper, what makes a business successful. For each paper we have an executive summary or a précis to tell you what's covered in that paper, so that you can make up your mind whether that's the sort of paper you want to send to this particular client. And there's a form attached to this paper, but here's the paper itself. So we can open that and you can read it. If you want to send this to a client, you can download it into your hard drive and then insert your logo and address, and then you are in a position to be able to send this to your client. The double lines here indicate space above there is reserved for your logo, address and name, which you can send to your client. Then you've got the contents, detailed list of what's in this document. And then you've got the article itself. Just going through listing a whole range of issues. For every paper there's a set of PowerPoint slides. You can put your logo onto these if you wish. I'll just go to the hourglass and make it full size. So here's a set of PowerPoint slides. These have been used in our seminar material, but some accountants like to use these when they're talking to a small group of people from the same organisation. It helps keep them on track, and it's fairly popular with some younger accountants who are a bit nervous about dealing with clients in an area like business advisory services. But primarily these slides have been used in the seminar material that we have developed. So that's how the system works for material within ESS BIZTOOLS. Just go back to sections and papers. You see all the sections that are there, they've all got papers within them. Some have only got a couple of papers, some have got 30, 40. And the papers that are targeted at accountants start in the series 500. So if you wanted to look at papers that are targeted at accountancy business development, in total there's 50 of these in the 500 to 600 series. There are the papers there of the various subjects that we have produced, papers that are primarily targeted at you. We don't suggest you give any of these to your clients. These are for you to use to get a better understanding of what is happening. And there's some training program material and business coaching, and the leadership material is in section 900. So that's how the system operates. And there's the leadership material. I'm just going to check again to see if we've got any questions. We haven't got any further questions. We have a further webinar tomorrow for people contemplating joining ESS BIZTOOLS, and that's on ESS BIZGRANTS, and it's on at the same time tomorrow. If you haven't registered yet and you wish to register, can you please contact us and on essbiztools.com.au. We're about to have a fly past here by the sounds of jet aircraft, so I think it's probably an appropriate time to finish this webinar. So thank you very much for having participated today. If you do have any questions, can you please contact us, and we will be sending you a survey form at the end of the webinar, we would appreciate it if you could complete it and return it to us. And we do look forward to welcoming your firm to ESS BIZTOOLS as subscribers. If you would believe it would benefit your firm to have a one-on-one webinar with you and your colleagues, we are happy to do that. Just please contact us, send us an email to peter@essbiztools.com.au, and we will organise a convenient time for a one-on-one webinar with your team. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.